Hi, and welcome back to Zoe's Trips. Did I just set up my book wall like a couple of months ago? Yes. I think I knew in that video that I wanted to complete the wall. However, of course, IKEA had a big supply shortage. I couldn't order the skinnier Billy bookcases, so I was stuck with the 3 regular ones. That was fine. But last week I got the notification that there were some in stock, and now it's done. Okay, so let me assure you that you did not miss anything by me not including the footage of putting up these bookcases. This one here, this one here. I messed up a little bit with this one. I put the top shelf on upside down, but it still works. It's just you can see the little attach thingies. I'm exhausted, but now is the fun part of reorganizing the books. So, talk to you soon. And before I set up the new bookshelves, I did do a little bit of an unhaul. Not that it was really necessary. I did have some room still for more books, but I did want to make sure that these shelves really represent who I am as a reader now. You know, a lot of people, like, they want their big book collection to represent all the books that they've ever loved, or trying to sort of collect as many books as they can, but I figured, you know, I do have, you know, my family's home where I can keep some of my older books and my older loves, and then B, I wanted room to expand and find new tastes and be able to see gaps in my reading collection. And so you might notice they look a little bit more sparse now. There's some shelves that basically there's nothing on, and that's okay, I think. My goal is not to expand any further, at least not while I'm in this setup. Maybe one day when I move to, you know, a castle in the moors, I can have a much bigger library than this. But for now, these shelves and their capacity I'm very happy with, and I look forward to populating further as I acquire new books, and then migrating some out as, you know, I'm sure some of the books that are still on the shelves now, in a year or two, I might not find that they really bring me joy. I think that was what the logic was while I was taking some books off. They can go find a different and loving home. Okay, starting with the shelf up here, I can already see I have 2 copies of the Aeneid. I don't need both. I have annotated and read both of them, but I think this one will go, just because it's the older one. I don't think there's as many annotations. And I also have 2 copies of Paradise Lost. Again, I'll go with the one that I've annotated less, and I'll leave the one that matches the complete poems that I have next to it. Probably won't get rid of anything from this shelf. It's my romantics shelf. I do have 2 editions of Wuthering Heights, but one is the one that I've read and has a pretty cute cover design, and the other is the Twilight edition, so, you know, I need both of those. I will get rid of this edition of War and Peace. It's actually my parents' edition, so I'm just going to return it to our family library, and I think I'll try to get a different edition or a different translation, because I've seen other translations recommended over this one. Here's my nonfiction. I think I'm happy with all of these here. I might get rid of H is for Hawk. In previous videos it's on my fiction shelf, but I realized shortly after that it's a nonfiction book. I've had it for years. It's not really pulled me in at any time. I love reading about birds, but I don't know. Okay, there's some of these academic books that I just don't need. Like the Poetics of Gender, I think is a little outdated. and isn't something I've ever needed to reference despite working on poetry and gender. So, I don't work in Victorian studies. And if these topics interest me, I can go elsewhere or find this at a library. Let's see. I think I'm gonna get rid of the sealed letter. Didn't love it. I think it would make someone else happy. Well, actually, American Gods, I might move along. As well as Shadow Lines. It didn't do much for me. Actually, I have to remind myself what it's about. I read it fairly recently, too. I should maybe go through my bookmarks, but not today. And here, I think these are a lot of favorites, or probably favorites. So now how about I take you on a tour of the new setup. We're back at the leftmost bookshelf. This one's very much the same as when I first showed you my book collection. Same, this is my romanticism shelf. It actually only goes up to 1818 because what do we have underneath? The Frankenstein. That is what my sibling has called it now, and that is what it is named. Then the later 19th century, going into the 20th, and again going kind of all the way to the 90s. Okay, this is my favorite part. My whole collection of Broadviews, I did not cheat. My whole collection of Broadview editions fit exactly in this shelf. I swear I didn't cheat. It makes me so happy. I actually cried. This is actually the mask that I was supposed to wear to the awards gala, and it got stuck in the post, and it arrived like a week after the gala, so here it is. I love it though. I don't want to return it. I just need to find an excuse to wear a very strange Venetian mask. And then this is my collection of bookmarks. Chapbooks have their own shelf in their little basket. They're like biographies and sort of more accessible summaries. And then these are the more like officially academic texts. So I would reference these if I were to write another thesis, which, maybe. Penguin's shelf is exactly the same. Oxford shelf is exactly the same. This is kind of miscellaneous. I have my good old friend here. Some plants, my DVDs of Bright Star, Moulin Rouge, Hannibal, my reference titles. Then this is my new poetry shelf. On its own shelf is my Anne Carson collection. Here are my nonfiction texts, and then just 2 lone Latin books. Underneath is my French collection. I don't like that it's all the way down here. It makes it kind of sad and neglected. Up here, I've got some candles. And then these 2 shelves are my vanity. Hello. I have the book on the language of flowers. Some soaps. My perfume, if you're wondering what I mostly smell like. And my lipsticks and some smaller perfumes, and then my rings and brooches and hairpins. So I already told you about the Anne Carson shelf. And then I have 3 lonely graphic novels. I have another at my parents'. I'll have to go get it. It's my nail polish and a tea light holder. It's not very interesting. This is really just a full shelf of books. There's some space on the right with a lot of them for me to fill in. Let's not fall down. So yeah, I've been able to churn out covers. So yeah, that's the new shelf. I'm really happy with where it is now. And thank you for coming with me on this journey. Let me know how you organize your shelves, and if you have a book wall, how do you manage it? Because it seems like a creature of its own, sort of, at this point.